Hello friends, welcome to the MARE Podcast. Before we get started, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and YouTube. Don't forget that you can find more about the MARE project at www.marehamburg.com, and you can support the project and this podcast through Patreon. All the links are in the description. Enjoy! Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the MARE Podcast. It's lovely to have you all here again with me for another episode. And today we have the pleasure of welcoming Lina in our podcast. Hello Lina, welcome.
Hello, Yorgos. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So how are you? How has your day been?
All good. How was yours?
Yes, good. Yeah, very nice. So Lina She is working currently at CMMI, which is the Cyprus Marine and Maritime Institute, right? Yes.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Correct.
And I invited her over to talk to us a bit because we've met at an excavation, at the Nisha shipwreck excavation. And I think you have a very interesting job in maritime archaeology, may I say, an interesting, I think you see the maritime archaeology in a different light than most of us.
You think?
Yeah, maybe, I think. So,
Okay.
Lina completed her bachelor's degree at the University of Ioannina, and then she proceeded to do an M.A. in maritime archaeology at the University of Denmark. What's the name of the university?
University of Southern Denmark, yes.
That's the one. Which I think has the department closed, right?
Yes.
you
Actually,
remember
we were the last ones.
You were the last
So,
one.
yeah, the students that were there were the last ones. Yeah, it was 2019.
Oh my God. Do you know why? The low interest in...
I think there wasn't anyone that could continue it in a way. Like there weren't any more professors that could continue but I'm not sure.
Interesting. And the program is in Danish? And
No,
English?
it's in English. And it was actually very good because it was for free for European citizens. So that's why I went there. I only had to worry about, my living costs.
Yes, of course. And how did you cover that? Did you work while you were doing...
Yes, I actually did 3 jobs.
3 jobs and the master's?
And the master's, yeah.
How did you manage that? Wow, that's
don't
quite a
know.
sacrifice.
I don't know. To tell you the truth, now that I'm thinking, I don't think I would be able to do it again.
Why though? Why?
I think it was very tiring. Like, how?
I mean, it makes
I keep
sense.
sitting. But if you need to survive, you do a lot
Oh
of
yeah, it's a survival instinct,
things.
right?
Yeah, you do a lot.
Okay, so anyway, before we get into that, talk to us a bit about your studies. How did you get into maritime archaeology, into archaeology first, and then into maritime archaeology? How did that came to be?
So archaeology is a very funny story, but I will try to keep it short because I
But why
wanted to
though?
be an
No,
archaeologist because it's I don't know how many millennials I believe there are here, but I don't know how many people were watching the series that inspired me to be an archaeologist.
What's the
So,
series?
so do you know Relic Hunter?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that inspired me to be an archaeologist. It's very like if you see it now, it's very cult, like cult
Yeah.
90s, very. But actually, it inspired me to be an archaeologist. I really liked it. And then I asked my father, what is this job? Like, what? It's an archaeologist. Oh, this is what I want to be. But I was
Nice.
very young. And then I changed my mind. I wanted to be something else, but then it came the time when I had to choose with the Pan-Hellenic exams. So I saw it and I said, I wanted to be an archaeologist at some point, and so I did it. Then I passed, at the University of Ioannina.
Nice. And how was the experience? Did it live up to the expectation of Relic Hunter? Or was it different?
No, Of course not, because whatever science is not gold. What, as we say, I don't know if you
Yes,
know
yes.
saying in English. I learned that the discipline is completely different from what you see in the movies and what you see in the series and everything, but it's far more interesting. Um, and since the second year, because the first year, after the Pan-Hellenic exams, you don't want to read again, you don't want to study, like you want to do
Yes.
other things. So in the second year, yeah, that I had to choose between history and archaeology. I knew that I would go to archaeology, like I didn't want to do history. Um, I I did a paper on scarab seals in Egypt and Crete, and I
Yes.
really liked it. So I said, okay, this is where I want to be, and I continued to, and then I started into going to excavations to universities. Like since then, I don't think I stopped.
Okay, so what was your first excavation? Do you remember?
It was at Kastoria,
Mhm.
in Greece. The site was called Paravella. It was a cemetery,
A cemetery.
Byzantine times. Yes, I think
Oh,
Byzantine times. Yes. Um, yeah, and then I thought I wanted to be an osteoarchaeologist because it was some. But someone told me that if I become an underwater archaeologist, not someone, Professor Plagos at that period, that he was there, he told me if you become an underwater archaeologist, you might not find a lot of people doing it. So I said, why not? Because I was a competitive swimmer. So me and the water I was very familiar with it. So I said, okay, let's see. And I went to the Aristotle University, then had some meetings, gatherings about maritime archaeology. And I went there. So I found out that you need diving license,
oh, surprise.
go underwater. So I did my first one, the PADI first one, the open water, to see if I am comfortable underwater and see if I can do this. And then I found also uh, the underwater, the program, the Maritime Archaeology program in Denmark. I saw I was comfortable, I was accepted, so I said, okay, I will go.
Oh, very nice. So the MA in Denmark needed you to only have your paddy open water, and then they trained you even more, or not?
No, no, no. It was me. I just wanted to see if I'm okay underwater because the course was practical. It
Yes.
You were training to be a maritime archaeologist, also diving wise. So
Oh,
you had
interesting.
yes, I was training to be a commercial diver
Mm.
there. It was There is a different umbrella there, so it's not just recreational diving; it's more professional diving. So I was trained during my 2 year master, and we did also a lot of other things, interesting things, such as photogrammetry, 3D modeling, GIS, all these tools that you can use it so that you can extend your research in archaeology even further,
Of
and of
course,
course
but
maritime
yeah,
archaeology.
yeah, but it sounds super practical. So how did you find commercial diving in like in contrast to open water diving, recreational diving? Was it hard to transition to?
The commercial diving is completely different. So you dive alone, you have a lifeline, and but the recreational system, it's a you dive with a buddy. So the thing is that so I don't think I was very into the recreational system. I just did my first one, and then I learned how to be a commercial diver. So I actually didn't know the differences
Mm.
between. So afterwards, when I came back, that was the hard part because I had to learn the body system again.
Oh yeah.
It was a bit weird. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it was nice because I know both of them, how they work. So I
yeah.
had
But
this
I
perspective.
imagine there's not much commercial diving in Greece or Cyprus nowadays, is there?
It's not recognized. That's
It's
the
not
thing.
recognized.
Yeah, the thing is the commercial diving, it falls under the okay. I go down and I connect some things with welding.
Oh, so it's a very
It's
technical, mechanical
very
kind of
technical.
diving.
Yes. While in Denmark, in the northern countries, commercial diving it has to do with the legal system. So how
Okay.
are you covered? Are you covered? You know, do you have insurance when you are underwater? In case something happens. So it's a legal umbrella in the northern countries, but in the southern, I mean, the Mediterranean, it's mostly um, completely professional diving.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
And
But anyway,
scientific
yeah.
diving, it's a
Yeah.
bit in the middle. So,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I see it. I see it completely. So I go back again to the master's
mhm.
program in Denmark, which sounds very technical. You said 3D modeling, you said photogrammetry, commercial diving. So did you know all these skills beforehand, or did you learn it there? And do you still today feel like you're confident enough to do such things as 3D modeling, for example?
I didn't know anything. So, yeah, I felt that I did a completely different, I don't know, how do you say, like
A different degree, I
a
would
new
say. But
program,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
different degree, like completely. Because I learned other stuff. I learned the things of archaeology, of course, in Greece, but then it was, a level up on maritime archaeology, maritime culture. What does that mean? Ships. It's a completely different thing. And of course, this whole thing, the GIS, 3D modeling, um, all this thing with the technological tools, if you don't use them, okay, you have the workshops, you have the hands-on experience. When you learn it, it's good. But if you're not using it, uh, you know, you forget about it. So the 3D modeling, if I was in Denmark, I would say, yeah, I can use it. I can create a ship for you. I don't mind. Give me the lines plan and okay. Now I don't remember anything because I haven't touched the thing. I haven't touched the topic this for quite some time.
Oh yeah, but it makes sense,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you can't be an
Yeah.
expert
Yeah. Yeah.
on everything.
Photogrammetry, I've been taking, the process, how to do it. There is also the process of how you take the pictures, then how you process them, and what do you do with the model that you create. So it's a whole different thing.
Yes, true.
Mhm. I've been
Um,
involved
yeah.
in all these phases, so I kind of remember how to do it.
Yes, yes, and I think photogrammetry is kind of used more widely, I would say,
Yes.
rather
As
than
the
3D modeling.
documentation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quote unquote easier to
Mm.
use
Yeah.
photogrammetry rather than doing a 3D model of something, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move ahead to kind of today. And I want you to talk to us a bit about what are you doing today? What's your position now? What are you doing? And
Okay.
this will
So,
lead to the comment I made in the beginning about using things differently than maybe most
okay.
people.
So as you said at the beginning, I work at the Cyprus Marine and Maritime Institute. I'm a maritime archaeologist. My position is assistant scientist. My background, based on what I did after my master, is on the use of innovative technologies for the sustainable management and protection and responsible promotion of underwater cultural heritage sites. So it's a big thing, it's a vast thing, but I'm trying to narrow it down now that I'm at CMMI. So,
Okay, so at CMMI, do you pursue your own research, or do they give you tasks and projects?
no, it's through projects. You can proceed your own research and your own topic, what you want to deal with most.
Okay.
But the thing is that you also need to find the correct call for it. It's not easy all the time to do the thing that you
Oh
want,
yeah, sure.
especially if
Because
it's very specific.
European funding, I'd imagine, is a competitive kind of field, right? That's what you're talking about, or not?
Yes, and also it needs, when you write a proposal, it needs a holistic approach. Like, you don't not get to see this research, you know, you get to see how you promote it to people. You get to see what you will do afterwards. You know, you get to see, okay, you have a site, but will it valorize the whole area or not? So
Yes.
it's a whole approach. Some of it, it's part of the research that you like, so you move it a bit further on this.
Yeah, I see. That's why I
Mm.
said, because you did your master's and now you're kind of working as a maritime archaeologist and not,
Mhm.
for example, if I was to do a research proposal for a PhD, I would take into account myself and my
Mhm.
ideas and how to kind of implement them and make them work and have a research out of it. But just now, you like very naturally talked about how you need to not only write the proposal, but take into consideration the people in your team. What's your end goal? How will you use the funding? Where does that go? Will the area you're trying to work in be suitable for your goals? So I think you have a more grounded approach and a more hands-on approach to archaeology rather than doing a PhD, maybe which won't take into consideration so many aspects, especially at the research proposal phase. So I'm not sure if you can you talk to us a bit about the project you're doing at CMMI? Is this information that you can share?
Yes, of course. One of the projects that we have now, it's Fetida. It's the excavation that we met budget. You know,
Yes,
part
yes.
of it. You know,
Part
part
of
of
it, part of
it.
it.
Yes,
So
was
talk to us a bit about
from
Tetila. What
Fetida
is Tetila?
project. So it is the aim of the project is the protection of coastal and underwater cultural heritage sites from the effects of climate change and natural hazards. So it's under this topic. Um, it's under Horizon Europe. So I don't know who cares about that. I don't know. And Horizon.
I'm sure you care about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a big call. That's what I want to say. Like,
Yeah,
so
Horizon.
it's a big
Yeah.
call. It has a lot of money. Yeah, it has a lot of money. So, and it gives us the opportunity to see what uh, what we can do in order to protect these sites. So the good thing is from this project that we not only have underwater sites, because we know in maritime archaeology, it's not only what it's underwater, it's also what it's coastal, you know, the coastal sites
Yeah,
are also
of course.
affected. So it's good that it takes under consideration some coastal sites and some underwater sites. And one of the underwater sites, it's the shipwreck at Paraline that we excavated last September, correct? Yes.
Yes, of course.
Uh, so
So what?
it was good that we tried a lot of things, if you remember there.
Yeah. So talk to us a bit about the things we tried to do underwater.
So it was, on the one hand, we tried some sampling on the metal that was underwater. Okay, the
Okay. So okay.
corrosion, you know, degradation, to see the degradation
So what
and
we did is
other
that we
biodeterioration factors. Okay.
okay.
Yes,
Very nice.
this is the one.
The official proposal title.
The official, I think I have to say it like this, because if I say it something else,
Well, I'm glad you're
as
saying it the way you're
accurate.
supposed to.
Yes. So we tried underwater sensors, if you remember, an
Oh
underwater
yes. Oh yes.
sensor,
I
a
grew.
wearable, and the boats. I think you should talk a bit more about
I grew. To be honest, I grew quite fond of the sensors. I think it became they became my three children that I carried
Yes.
around all day. But I was not sure what they were doing. I think you know more than me about what their actual function was. I would just lower them in the water and take them out.
So the concept was we needed to have some data on the environmental factors happening underwater, and because the site was in 28 meters depth. So maybe there is a difference of the environmental factors happening on the surface and underwater. So we wanted to see first if we would have this, if there was a difference. So the sensors were, I don't know, calculating, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, measuring, calculating,
They were measuring
gathering data.
Salinity, temperature. The one was chlorophyll, was doing the chlorophyll. So we wanted to see if there were differences on these. The things were prototype. Okay,
Yes.
let's focus on the thing prototype. And so there were some testings, and we are waiting to see the results. We still have to decide if they worked or not.
Okay, so there is the metal parts that were taken, sampled. Then there were the underwater sensors. And yeah, we took samples of wood as well, right? Or was that for something else?
The thing was the hyperspectral camera.
The hyperspectral camera, yes.
Yes.
Do you understand how that works? Because I surely don't.
So with my simple head, what I can say is that, the human eye has the spectrum, from the one side to another. I don't know the colors, I think it's RGB, red, green.
Yeah, I think it's
blue,
RGB.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this. So the hyperspectral has also the bigger spectrum,
a wider range of colors.
Wider range of colors.
Yes.
So I think what was we tried for the first time to take these colors underwater, because it's easy to take it, to do it on land, but underwater, you have water between the hood and the camera. So we had some difficulties because you had to keep the hyperspectral very still. You had to be very still, which, as a diver, you cannot do it.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
If you're not stepping on the ground, actually, you cannot.
Yeah. I remember it was something like 40 seconds of not moving for one photo to be taken, something like that. Which is, like, if anyone has been underwater, knows that if you're floating, it's almost impossible to stay still for 40 seconds. So you had to stand firm on your legs on the seabed and take the picture. But we use the word, we say a lot of that we admitted a couple of times the past 10 minutes that we don't know how that works. We don't know what we did with that. We're not sure how it functions. And I think I think we should come forward and say that that's because the team behind Thetida is vast and large and has a whole bunch of professionals and specialists in a whole bunch of things that take care of the data for us, and we don't need to know everything. So saying that, I mean, you should know, how many people are involved in Thetida? How many countries? How many institutions? It's a big project, right?
So Thetida has 17 partners, if I'm not mistaken.
17. That's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of partners from different countries. So there is Portugal, there is Italy, the Netherlands, Svalbard, which is, comes under Norway, Cyprus, Greece. I think that's it. I don't think I forgot someone. Yes.
Okay, that's a whole from east to west, north to south. That's everywhere.
Yes. And we have 6 pilot sites.
6 pilot sites, okay.
6 pilot sites, so 3 coastal and 3 underwater.
Okay, so the M.A.R.E shipwreck is one of the underwater.
The one underwater.
Ones. What are the other 2 underwater ones?
The other 2 is the one is a World War II aircraft, which is in Portugal, Algarve. And the third one is World War II shipwreck, the Aqua shipwreck. Maybe the aircraft is World War One. I have to.
Okay. Yeah. One of the world wars.
So yeah, the one is World War One, World War II, and then we have the site in Paralimni,
Which is
the
18th
shipwreck.
century.
Yes, and then we have another one in Italy, actually, an underwater site, which is the Gallinara, what we call shipwreck. It's what many people would know as the Albenga shipwreck.
The Albenga. I've never heard of it. What is that shipwreck about? What is the dating of it?
The Albenga shipwreck has it's dated in the Roman times. It has over 10,000 amphora, and it's a system. It has been a systematic underwater maritime research there.
Wait. 10,000 amphoras.
Yes, it's one of the most famous. From actually, I had no idea about it, and I found it. I found out about it during the project. I didn't know that that because they had it in another name, the Gallinara, so shipwreck, because it is close to the Gallinara Island. So I had no idea that we were talking about the Albenga shipwreck. Actually, there was a big systematic underwater excavation that it was scientifically also very good underwater excavation.
Wow.
I think it started in the 50s, I believe.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that, or I know it and I don't remember the name or something like that. If it started in the 50s, that must be the same time as, the Ullebrun shipwreck and excavation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it started there, and the scientific approach was good for the time.
Okay. Oh, we learned something new today. So that's part of
it as well. I didn't know about it, and I learned during the project. I was looking at it, but that's the thing with the project.
Yeah, because you can never know everything, and I mean, especially in this podcast, the amount of people that come in and tell me about sites and their importance, and I don't know about them, and I get so starstruck. I'm like, oh wow, there's so many sites, especially underwater sites, that I didn't know about. And this right now, I'm like, I'm blown away by the sheer amount of amphoras that were found in this. But anyway, let's move past my excitement about amphoras. So these are the underwater sites, and then there are some coastal sites. When we say coastal sites, do we mean harbors or do we mean something else?
No, we mean the sites that are on the coast. So the one, it's the Mykonos castle. So it's way up the coast.
Yeah. So yeah,
the other,
not half submerged or something. It's there. It's in the coast.
Yes.
It's not submerged or anything. Okay.
No. The other one is in Svalbard. Is a town, a mining town. It wasn't. Okay. It is a mining town, but now it's not used anymore, and it's because it's abandoned. Now it starts to be degraded, but it's not underwater. It's still not underwater. It might be affected by sea level change.
Interesting. Oh wow. And people can check out these sites there's a website for Tätila, right? So people can check it out and can learn a whole bunch about Tätila. That's always an amazing section about the project that I didn't know about, even though I, as we established, worked for it.
It's okay. Anyway. I didn't know about the shipwreck. I was working for 1.5 years at the shipwreck. Wow. Yeah, Albenga. I learned about it.
Albenga shipwreck. I will go and Google it afterwards. Anyway, let's move past that. Are there any other projects that you can share with us? Is that the big one, and there are other small ones running in the background?
Yes, there are. For now, we have the Theta project, but we're trying to create more because it's a small department. The Cultural Heritage Center. We only are 2 people. Anna Dimitriou is the supervisor, and then it's me. And so we are trying to figure out our next projects. We also have the Cyprus Regional Development Project.
What is that?
We are doing in collaboration with Honor Frost Foundation, and they are responsible for implementing it, of course, and they are funding it as well.
Okay, so what is the project? What is it about?
So the Cyprus Regional Development Project, so as I told you, it's funded and led by the Honor Frost Foundation. And it has as a name to enhance regional capacity and develop a more informed and integrated model for these very nice words that we all say: protection, research, management, and dissemination of maritime cultural heritage.
Wow.
It's this holistic approach that I was talking about before with the projects that we all deal with. When you are trying to do research, you're trying to see something, you try to see it from a general perspective. You're trying to see, okay, I research, how do I show it to people, and how I can sustainably.
Oh yes, a very practical approach to things, to how do I do research. And I mean, the regional development and like enhancing the regional capacity of managing underwater cultural heritage and all that sounds wonderful. Being super excited for it. But anyway, so CMMI does a whole bunch of things, and it's very nice to see. And it's very nice to see people interested and funding and developing this kind of heritage management movements and projects. But let's talk a bit more about you now. Let's move back to you. As I said in the beginning, you decided not to pursue a PhD. And instead you went into work. So do you want to talk to us a bit about that? How come you didn't do a PhD? Whereas I think most of the people would say, yes, I did a master's for 2 years and then I proceeded to do a PhD.
Yes. So my master thesis was in it's a theoretical approach for the use of predictive modeling in Mesolithic coastal settlement sites in them.
Wow. What is predictive modeling?
So you have a site.
Yes. Okay. I love how you explain this to me like I'm 5, because that's exactly what I want. Go, please.
Okay. So predictive modeling, it's an umbrella. Okay. So you have a site, you have some things, you have to define what are these things. Okay. And you have to define what you want to know. Okay. So.
Okay. Sure. Yes.
So based on the things that you have, you can predict what is the result. But
okay, makes sense.
So it's kind of like this predictive modeling. The thing I didn't want this. I didn't want.
You didn't want it?
No, I wanted to do logboats.
That's super different. That's a whole different world.
The thing is, I wanted to do something practical. So I wanted to, do something more for the research. I mean, if I studied some logboats, I would do something more for the research. Okay. But then no one was giving me the logboat to study.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So this is a case of like you not being able to access data led you in you not doing the research. So where are the logboats? Who holds logboats?
I don't know. You told me not to insult people.
my god. Okay. Let's say somebody didn't give you the logboat.
Yes,
So sorry for asking. I should.
that was promised. Promised. It's okay. There was a conversation before. Okay, there was nothing on paper, so I cannot say
Okay.
anything. That's why the thing is that if you want, have it everything on paper. That was my big mistake. Anyways, the thing is that it got me into a good path. You know, I took
Mhm.
predictive modeling and I didn't know what was that. But after all these projects that I was in and everything that I'm doing now in CMMI, it's coming back again. And I think I might do this PhD and I might pursue this predictive model. So I'm in this.
Interesting. So yeah, that was my
Phase.
next question of where do you see your future? It's your work at CMI, I suppose, is under contract, right?
Yes, I'm hoping
So
to continue in CMMI.
so you're hoping to continue in CMI, so you enjoy it.
Yes, because it gives me the opportunity to test a lot of things, um, to ask what is the need and try to give some solutions, which is what
Yeah.
I want. Like I want a more practical thing. I want to see what is in lack, not in research mostly, but what is in lack in the discipline in general, and try to give a solution. Because
Okay.
I did a lot of uh, I think technology is the answer to that. And I'm trying to see how we can proceed with it. Because
So you said,
archaeologists can work
yeah,
side
continue.
by side.
Of course, of course. Archaeology is a team sport. So you said you're trying and you want to identify what's in lack in research, what the absence of in research. So what do you think that absence is? Have you been able to identify what the lacunas are in research, or not yet, or you're trying?
I think the thing is not in research, but I believe in the discipline because I believe archaeology is being disregarded in a sense. Like it's been put on the side because okay, um, you want to because you always want to know about the past, okay? But in order to do it, um, this needs a process, you know. But how will you tell about your identity if you don't search for it? But people don't know about it. So, you know, you always want to see where you came from, why, and why. But they don't know the whole process that this needs, you know,
Yeah, they don't know what the work needs
yes, the
behind
work
that.
that needs to be done in order to find about you what happened in the past and what is this
Okay.
identity that you're so in search for. Um, so what I'm trying to do is because time and money now cost a lot. So I'm trying to find a ways to do things faster and with
Hmm.
less money.
Well, I'm sure that's a useful approach that every archaeologist would agree with.
Mm.
Doing everything faster with less money. So you, for example, now are one a very nice example of the need to move in archaeology in order to find work. So you have been not living in your hometown
Mhm.
since you moved out to do your bachelor's. And I think I think it's a fact that this is a recurring theme in archaeology. You can't just
Mhm.
do 4 years or 3 years, do a master's, come back in your home, and then just find a job and do the work. So I wanted to take your opinion on that. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing about archaeology? The need to move all the time.
You know what I recently found? That
No.
there are a lot of archaeology jobs in Cyprus, but no one wants to come and work.
In Cyprus specifically.
Yes, but it's I had a conversation. Why? because people don't want to live their, I have a life. I establish something here, so I want to do something here. There are steady jobs with good income. Um, I believe it's a good thing to answer your question before. I believe it's a good thing that we move a lot because we get to see a lot. Archaeology is not something that it's stagnant. Um, but we don't seize the opportunities. I've seen a lot of archaeologists that they are not going to go out of their comfort zone to do things. I actually was in the mentality from the beginning that is archaeology. You won't have a steady place. Um, so I was in this mentality, and sometimes why I say this thing like I'm doing it for the plot. Sometimes. Okay, sometimes you need an anchor. Okay,
Yes.
after 30, when the 30 hits, you need this anchor, no matter what.
Yes. True.
Um, but I believe um, it has to do with what you want to do. I've always wanted to do archaeology, and that was my main goal. So if the job got me somewhere else, I would go.
Yes.
But
That
yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you would prioritize archaeology and work over, for example, settling down and having a family, for example. Is that something you see yourself doing? It's a super personal question, but I think it's closely. I think it's very closely tied to archaeology, and I think that's something that I think all early career researchers think about. That if you hit your, as you said, you hit your 30s and you're still traveling around, studying, doing research, not having a stable job, you're under a contract that lasts for 3 years, and then you have to move somewhere else. You need to find a place to work somewhere else. Some would say that's a terrible thing, and I will never, never, ever go into archaeology. But I think you're right, and of course you're right. It's about what you prioritize. And if
Mm-hmm.
you prioritize work, you prioritize work. And as you say, if archaeology takes me there, I will follow archaeology and I won't abandon it. But I also think that a very interesting thing you mentioned is about seizing opportunities. And archaeologists, I would say, especially young undergraduates, I would say archaeologists
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
are not very much willing to seize that opportunity and to be in that mentality of I need to move a lot. I need to get out of my comfort zone. So I think that's the most important thing to take today, that archaeology is about getting out of your comfort zone.
Definitely. But so what you said before, I will prioritize archaeology until a point. Like now, I think I'm in a period of my life that I can, drop this anchor.
Yes,
So, you get to decide when to do that. You see where life takes you, and if you are okay, I move a bit with the instinct. It gives
mm,
me something to move on. So sometimes you know what is right, and if you stay here, you're gonna be okay.
that's
You
very
have
nice to
this
hear.
feeling. Mhm. You have this
Very
feeling.
nice.
Um, so I think it's prioritizing and also balancing. Come on, you know that okay, it's research, it's nice, the job, but at the end of the day, I don't believe it's fulfilling enough. But disclaimer to people that they like it and they are okay with it. I'm
Of course, this
completely
is this
fine with
is
it.
uh,
But
this is
for
purely personal.
me, I thought, I was very workaholic, very
Mm,
archaeology driven. We'll go wherever archaeology takes me. But at some point, I was like, yeah, but maybe this is not the point of life.
okay, yeah.
So sometimes maybe you need to go to the other end of the spectrum to understand the balance.
Yes, maybe. I don't know. Personally, I if someone asks me, would you move for archaeology? I would say yes, of course I will move for archaeology. But at the same time, I don't know if in 5 years my answer will be the same, right?
Exactly.
Because after a while you get tired of constantly moving around. Um, but talking about comfort zone and getting out of the comfort zone, I think your story is kind of inspiring at that sense, because you mentioned the first excavation you've been and being told by someone that maybe go into underwater stuff, and you said, oh well, let's give it a try, which is by itself, I think that not everyone will do, because as you said, that the moment you thought about diving, your instinct was like, oh yeah, I know how to swim, so you felt better about getting out of your comfort zone and trying diving, and then you went to Denmark and you got out of your comfort zone even further to do commercial diving, and then came back and you said, oh my god, I need to do the body system, I need to learn technical diving. So there's a whole bunch of leaps and getting out of comfort zones in order to achieve this, some would say dream, some would say goal, to actually work into maritime archaeology. So I wanted to talk a bit about field work, the places you've worked, except the Nisha shipwreck, which we established. And what other projects have you worked underwater? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a least favorite?
After my master's, so I will take you a bit back. So after my master ended, because you said something about comfort zone, I said I
Okay,
would
yeah,
stay
you
in
can comment on
Denmark.
that. Yeah.
Yes, I will come back to what you said,
Okay,
but
okay, yeah,
to
yeah,
your
go.
question. But after when I finished with my thesis, um, I said, okay, now I have to go to work. Like, okay,
Mm.
I've worked like voluntarily for so long, so I don't want to do it again. So I didn't look for the job actually to come, but I was in a conference. Yes, in a conference. I was attending. I wasn't speaking at all. No. In Formentera, which was opposite to Ibiza, if you know. So
Yes.
I was going for the beach. Like I went to this conference because I knew, okay, Formentera, September, what bad can be. And I found my next job, which was in Thessaloniki. And I came back because I thought I want to stay in Denmark. I didn't like Denmark. Sorry, Denmark, but I didn't like Denmark. So I went back. I wanted to go back to Greece. So when this job hit, I was like, yes. And then I was introduced into projects. So I didn't know that projects like this existed, that I am now involved in all of this. So
Mhm.
to come back to what you said, it's good to do this leap of faith, try these new things. Because through the projects, I was introduced to this holistic approach into that. Okay, there is not only the research, we need it. Of course, we need the research. But there is also a way to make archaeology understandable to people, and especially maritime archaeology understandable to non-divers, because not everybody wants to dive, and not everybody can dive. We cannot make them
Yes.
dive. So this is a new world that was introduced because I made this leap of faith. Okay, I wanted to go back to Greece. I had another motive behind, but uh, it was good, to try a bit.
Oh, yes.
Mm.
So you mentioned voluntary work, which in archaeology is a big thing, a huge topic. So I would like to know your comment on that, on how much voluntary work should an undergraduate or a graduate student withstand before they start demanding for payment for their work?
Uh, hmm. That's a hard topic, but I would say do it.
Hmm.
Do it
Do it.
because you
Yep.
learn. Because there is nothing like hands-on. So no matter what you studied, uh, there is there is not such thing as actually doing the work. And go under 40 degrees, being with, not an umbrella, and start digging and, falling from the, oh, I don't know how you call them in English.
What? Say it in Greek.
Martyrs. How do you call it?
Oh, the I don't remember. The in between walls of the trenches.
Of the trenches, yes. I don't know
where you
how
can see the stratigraphy.
Yes, so falling
So
from
fall
there
from
because
that
yes, fall from there
onto the
because
trench
yes, exactly.
Okay.
With a
with a trowel on your
very
hand.
sharp tool on your hand. Like it was very
Any
nice
kind of sharp
experience.
tool in your hand.
Yes,
Oh wow!
yes. So it's a nice experience. You need to do it because for me that was I don't know, the thing that kept me going. It was how I learned
that
things.
kept you going.
Yes, and it was how I learned things, to tell you the truth.
I see it. I mean, first of all, I believe, I think many people believe that an archaeologist who has never been in the field is a very dangerous archaeologist, who might say things that may not stand or may be very far from the truth. And I think when you are out in the field, you get a sense of grounding, of realizing when you write in a paper about a 40-meter shipwreck, unless you've seen how big a 40-meter shipwreck is, you will never know actually how it looks like. Or I think there's the thing that a lot of people write about sailing ships, right? Even though 95% of us, and I put myself into that category as well, have never sailed a day in our lives. So I spent quite some time looking at ships. I know that there's rigging, I know that there's sails, I know that there's 2 levels and decks and undecked ships and masts and all that, but I've never actually used that. So if I've never been in the field as well, how can I be even the least eligible to write about things? But I would agree with you to say that, yeah, do it, go do it, go try it, even if it means you need to work the previous 6 months to make ends meet so you can do it for a month, but do it. And you never know who you're going to meet, what's going to happen, what you're going to learn.
Oh, and networking, right? Of course.
Ooh,
network.
A very big,
yes.
a very big topic. And I think in archaeology it's not about how good you are, it's about the people you know. Would you agree with that?
But I would say the people you know, but if you also have the practice, in the field, you really show who you are. So these people actually know who you are, and this is how you can move with what you can actually do. It's practical things. Like what
I think that's the most interesting thing about archaeologists, is that you need to be kind of a complete character. First of all, you need to be able to spend a lot of time in the library. You need to be able to write well. You need to be able to express your ideas well. You need to form an argument well. But at the same time, you need to be able to work under 40 degrees, as you said, 28 meters deep, 40 meters deep, in difficult situations, in the mud and the dirt and a whole bunch of different situations. And you need to be diligent with your finds. You need to be patient with your finds. You also need to work in a team. It's not a solo sport, it's a team sport. So there's a whole bunch of qualities that I think that are attributed to archaeologists that I think you'll hardly find it in any other profession.
What I say, you need to be a thinker and a doer, which is not everybody. Exactly. Yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Oh yeah, and I think we see that in undergraduate programs where 60 people start and 10 people finish.
Yeah, that's why you need to go out and try, because this is how you see if you are really into this. Because apart from the thinking part, it's also the doing part, and asking yourself, how will I do this? How can I easily, make the stratigraphy work, without spending so much time? Stuff like that.
and from the logistics you just said, the technical characteristics, there's also for example, you mentioned matters of identity before. How do you make a pile of ceramics turn into a whole theory of identity for a bunch of people? That's a whole other aspect of archaeology that you need to be careful what you write. You need to do, but you also need to think about what you're writing, what you're seeing, and accept that what you're writing has an impact, an actual impact in the world right now. We may not be doctors, we may not be saving lives. Yeah. We're not saying that we're the most important thing that happens in the world right now, but what you write has an impact, makes a difference, makes change, makes difference in the way people see themselves and their past and who they are, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You need to, and you can never know the truth of what happened in the past. Let's not forget about it. Unless you had a time machine and you were there, you
But
cannot know what happened. You cannot.
Even that, right?
Even that.
Imagine if I had a time machine and I stepped back into the past, into some city, I would just see their view of things, right? I wouldn't see the complete truth. And I had this conversation recently with a friend of mine, not an archaeologist, who was talking to me about it was like Alexander the Great and like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I actually told him, you know what, whatever you read, if they say something with absolute certainty, it's probably wrong. It's probably not archaeology. In archaeology, you will never read something that goes, yes, this is how things happened. I'm absolutely sure about it. There's no other way that things could have happened. And also there's the thing about, in archaeology, we try to make interpretations about the most logical scenario to happen, while all the conspiracy theories try to make the most exaggerated example out of things. So again, goes back to, you need to be careful of what you write, of what you're doing, it's a whole bunch of skills and mindset, and I think it can be very complicated to portray how an archaeologist should be.
And that is good with, because we said about we cannot know about the future. And that's good with predictive modeling, because I want to see how predictive modeling, you cannot say actually how accurate it can be, but you can at least try and see, possibilities. I don't know. I was very interested to see how.
So can you put your predictive model theory in kind of like an actual scenario? So the Mesolithic site you talked about, how does it work in that context, so I can understand it better?
Okay, so to explain better, I will take something from my thesis that I did. It was a theoretical approach.
Give me a,
because I didn't know. I didn't know the tools that exist today. So
okay,
sorry.
Theoretical approach is nice. I like that.
Yes, it was. So you have a site it's a coastal settlement. It's agriculture. It has maritime, marine. It has culture. Okay, it has artifacts. Okay.
Yeah, it's a maritime landscape.
Yes, it is. It is a settlement, though, that it has some tools. It has maybe some houses that were built. But all of these, you have environmental factors after this went underwater for a specific reason. Okay. You have environmental factors that affected. You have animals underwater. You have anthropogenic factors. Looting, first of all. You have other anthropogenic factors, as I want to build something on top, a breakwater or something like this. So this all affects, or where you're going to find the material culture. So by predicting, by trying to see what are these factors, how these all factors affected the area, you can predict where you will find the material culture that was saved.
Okay.
So that was the concept behind it. before I knew that you had so much technology that can help you with it
For
and give you
example, like
some.
a magnetic survey that will see below. That's the kind of tools you mean, or something else? I
I
am
mean,
really in the blank here. I have no idea what you're talking about. So sorry for the stupid questions.
no, I'm trying to see the topic as well myself. I'm trying to see how I can use it. But I was thinking that since you have quantifiable data, you can have quantifiable results and percentages. So if I know that this site is looted 100%, I know that I cannot find anything. But if I know
Makes sense.
that, this site was covered completely under, 1 meter of sand in 28 meters depth, I know that I might find something.
Yeah, it's more difficult to read.
You know,
Yes.
but the thing is that I need quantifiable data, which some of the tools nowadays can give you these actual numbers. So,
Okay.
mhm.
Interesting. I mean, that sounds very complicated.
In my head,
But
yes, it's very complicated.
in my head as well. I mean, I'm trying to think how you can collect all that data. I mean, for example, the quantifiable data, as you said, it about how many objects can you find. I guess visibility is one thing. Like, how many objects can you see? How many are buried? What's the situation like? If it was, I mean, there's so many aspects. Oh my god! But as you said, this will save a lot of time and money for archaeologists if they go to very targeted research in specific locations rather than like going about and surveying and like excavating looted areas, which are also important. But it's, if you spend your time finding something more fancy, you may like it more. And it, in the real world, if you find something exciting and beautiful and nice, that might mean that your funding keeps on coming. And I think that's the unfortunate reality in archaeology, that the shiny finds pay more.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all super interesting. And just to wrap this up, I mean, you gave me so much to think about, and I mean, I'm being so slow because I'm we covered so many topics about
Yes.
like from voluntary work in archaeology to your research about predictive models and how do you predict them, to your projects and funding
How I
and
think
working in
I
archaeology.
can predict them. Let's just be clear about it.
Yes,
Because it's a topic
right.
that it's now in my head, and I want to see how.
But that's all how all great ideas start. It starts from your head and then goes somewhere. It may lead to nowhere, but if the idea is in your head, it may lead to somewhere someday, right? So if you were to do a PhD now, where would you do it? Would you go back in Denmark or somewhere else?
No, I was. That's why I told you, like, CMMI can give you this opportunity.
Oh, you'll do through CMMI.
Yes, through CMMI. Yeah, now I have
Oh.
to find, the professor and everything. But I
But if you
believe
can
I
do it
have
through
great
CMMI,
possibilities here in Cyprus. So I will go after them.
well, that's good to know. And I hope that reaches out to people. If there are positions in Cyprus, maybe some people want to apply for them and try their luck and try their work in Cyprus. But we talked about networking in archaeology, but I think that if you're doing good work, you will find your place in this world in
That's true.
archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're doing good work, you won't be lost forever, no matter how many people you know or not know, and vice versa. If you know everyone in archaeology, but you're not doing a very good job, as you said, we should not insult anyone, not doing a very good job, you will soon find yourself out of business. If archaeology is a business, and I think for some is. Anyway, I've been talking a lot. Do you have any closing remarks for us before we close this episode?
I think I will stand with the last thing that you said. We cannot do everything, though. Okay,
True.
Yes, we choose the thing that we are good at and chase it. And as I said before, I mean, seize the opportunities. have an open mind, and try to have a lot of skills under your toolbox. I believe it gives you a lot of, you can move around more easily.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's valid. That's very valid.
So,
Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you very much for this amazing talk. I think you gave us all lots to think about, and that's why I invited you here, because as I said in the beginning, I think your more grounded view of actual archaeology, how it works, I think it gives people a lot to think about and a lot to put into perspective, and realizing that for an archaeologist, it's not a straight road from a bachelor's to a PhD to a postdoc. You can do other things as well. You can find your leeway around things. So thank you very much, Lina, for being here. And thanks everyone for listening to another episode of the MARE Podcast. And I hope to see you all again in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.